Hi guys, what's up? How you all doing? Today we're going to be looking at Marty solo from Lucretia. Yes, I did do a version of this a couple of years ago, but it was balls, so I'm doing it a little bit better today. And of course, what I never did was Dave's solo. That is coming in about a week or so, so stay tuned for that. But alas, let's take a look at Marty's solo from Lucretia. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I want to start off on 4th fret of the 3rd string, and I'm going to hammer 4, 6, 7, then go back to 6. Then after that, I'm going to hammer 5 to 6. And you'll notice I'm doing just a cheeky little position shift. I'm just a little bit more competent with my pointer in my middle there. At the end of that, I'm going to work into this phrase. If we slow it down, it is quite evil. I'm going to play 7, 9, 10 on the 2nd. And then 9, 8 on the 1st. And then I'm going to reverse that by playing 10, 9, 7 on the 2nd. This is what we should have thus far. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. Very similar ending notes there. I'm doing a slide from 6 to 5 on the 3rd, and then playing 7, 6 on the 4th. I'm going to play 4th fret of the 3rd string and 7, 6 on the 4th again. So altogether, that's going to go. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Then I've got a bit of a position shift to play this phrase. So as I'm playing this, you'll notice that I've gone all of that business. I've ended on my ring finger there. Then I'm substituting my pointer finger in on exactly the same fret, just to be a little bit more comfortable for the next position. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 6, 7, 6 as a hammer-on pull-off on the 4th string. And then I'm going to play 9, 7, 9 on the 5th. At the end of that, I'm going to work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 9 of the 5th, hammering 7, 9 on the 4th, and then jumping to 9 of the 5th again. So from the part before, at the end of that, I'm going to play pretty much the same notes up the octave, but I pick all of them. So I'm going to play 10, 12 on the 2nd string, and then 11 of the 3rd. So I've got... Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's put everything we've got together thus far, and then we'll add in the last chunk. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into this phrase. There's a cheeky slide at the end of that. So what I've got here, I'm playing 14, 12, 9 on the 1st string. All in one pick, and I've got that as a pull-off. So just rolling back there. And then I jump to 12 with the 2nd. At the end of that, I'm playing 12 again, bending up and back a full tone, pulling off to 10, and jumping to 11 of the 3rd. At the end of that, I've got a semitone bend on 11 of the 1st string. At the end of that, I'm going to do a slide into 6 of the 3rd string, and that's going to prepare us for section 2. And that's pretty much the whole section. Let's play it again relatively slowly, and then do it again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright, this section is completely cray and redonk, so please be patient. We're going to start off by playing 10-7 on the second string, and then I'm going to play 9 of the first, and then I'm going to slide into 9 of the first with my pointer, and then I'm going to work that into an arpeggio. So I'm going to play 9 of the first and 11 of the next two. Okay, after that I play 9 of the first again, and then slide into it with my pinky because I've got to get into that little hammer-on pull-off lick. So it goes, what I'm doing there, so I had the 9, slid in, and then I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off going 5, 9, 5 on the first string, and jumping to 7 of the second. So all together, hopefully that's making sense. Then I kind of work into an F sharp minor arpeggio. I'm sliding into 14 of the first string, and then I'm pulling off to 9 of the first, and then I'm working up that arpeggio by playing 10 of the second, 11 of the third, and then pulling off to 9. If you want to, you can slide from 12, but I guess at full speed it doesn't really matter. This is what we should have thus far. Probably going to make more sense to slide from the 9 actually. Okay, the next arpeggio I work through is nearly a straight E major. It's just got that weird kind of minor 6 in the middle. That note there, which is pretty delicious. So what I've got is a pull off. Pretty straightforward arpeggio. To that point, I'm playing 12 to 7 on the first string as a pull off, and then I play 3 9s in a row from the second, third, and fourth. So it goes. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm going to do a hammer on from 7 to 11 on the 5th, play 10 of the 4th. At the end of that, I'm playing 7 of the 3rd and 9 of the 4th. So we've got, at the end of that, I'm going to do a little slide into 10 of the first string, pull off to 7, and then I'm going to play 9 of the second string. And then I've got a little trill there going 7, 9, 7. So hammer on, pull off. And that's going to go 9, 8, 7 on the third. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start of the section. Hopefully that's all making sense. After that, I work into a B minor arpeggio. But the start of that is kind of, instead of just doing a straight descend, we're actually going to be skipping sort of every second note. So if we go through that slowly, I'm going to start off by playing 14 of the first string and 12 of the second. Okay, then I play 10 of the first and 11 of the third. Okay, from there I'm going to play 12 of the second and then 12 of the fourth, so another string skip. So it goes. At the end of that, I'm going to play 11 of the third string again. And then as soon as I hit the next note, I'm going to do a straight ascend from 14 to the 5th string, which is just going to be a straight B minor arpeggio. And that was going 14 of the 5th, 12 of the 4th, 11 of the 3rd, 12 of the 2nd, and then a hammer on from 10 to 14. So all together, after that, I slide that up to a D major, so I slide to 17, pull off to 14, play 15 of the 2nd and 14 of the 3rd. At the end of that, I want to slide back to 11 and play 12 of the 4th. So all together from that arpeggio idea. Okay, at the end of that, going to add some sexy vibrato on 11. Then I'm going to sweep through that B minor arpeggio up to the 2nd string. And I'm going to go up and back with a full tone bend twice. At the end of that, we're going to have a cheeky little diminished and then a bend. So we've got, what I've got here for that diminished arpeggio is a hammer on from 13 to 16 on the 3rd string. I'm playing 15 of the 2nd, then 13 of the 1st. At the end of that, I'm bending 17 up and back and then ending on 16 for this section. That is all of section 2. It is pretty redonk. Let's take it from the start nice and slow and then we'll do it again with some tabs. more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the third section. I want to start off with a semitone bend from 16 of the first string. I'm going to hit it again at the top and then bring it down. So it goes regular 16, and then I've got, what I'm doing there is I'm playing 14, 16 as single notes and then hitting that 16 again as the semitone bend. Hitting it once again at the bottom. So this is what we should have from the start. At the end of that, what I'm doing is a big bend from 19 of the first string. It's only a full tone actually. And then a semitone bend from 18. Then I'm resolving that to 19 of the second string. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, then I work into this phrase. So what I've got here is a hammer-on into a bend. So I'm playing 17 to 19 on the second string. That's a tone and a half, so it's a pretty big bend. And then I want to bring it down. So hammer-on, tone and a half bend, bring it down. And the next two phrases are pretty much the same timing. I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off, going 17, 19, 17, and then jumping to 18 of the third string. At the end of that, hammering back 17, 19. So all together. Then when I bring it back here, you'll notice the timing is pretty much exactly the same. So I'm playing 16, 17, 16 on the second string as a hammer pull-off, jumping to 18 of the third. And then when I come back down, hammering 16 to 17 again. So all together. If we put the other part before it now, this is what we should have. Okay, then it works into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to go 14, 16, 14 is a hammer-on pull-off on the second string. And I'm jumping to the cheeky flat 5 note on 17 of the third. Then I play 14 of the second. At the end of that, I'm rolling down the pentatonic, playing 17, 16, to 14 on the third string. At the end of that, resolving that on 16 of the third. Let's take it from the hammer-on into the bend, try and get to the end of the section, and then we'll take it right back to the start and put it all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's go from that semitone 16 bend at the start. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the last section. This is based around mostly an F sharp minor pentatonic. I'm going to start off with this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got a bend from 16 of the third. I'm jumping to 14 of the first string and then bending 17 of the second. Now we go into this phrase. So what I've got here is just working down the pentatonic in F sharp. I'm playing 14 of the first, 17, 14 on the second. And then I'm going to bend 16 of the third string, play 14, and then play 16, 14 as regular notes. All together. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got a cheeky little slide from 17 to 19 on the first string. Then I come back to the 17. Then I've got a hammer-on pull-off, nice and quick. From 14 to 17, back to 14, and then I jump to 17 to the second string. So let's slow that down. Okay, similar idea in timing. I'm going to start from 14 of the first string. And then I'm going to play 17 of the second and then do a hammer-on pull-off from 14, 17, 14, but on the second string this time. And I resolve that to 17 of the third. The next bit, not really similar timing, just working down that scale. I'm playing 14 of the second string and then 17, 16, 14 on the third. At the end of that, I've got the slight bend on 16 of the third string, and then I'm going to play 14 of the third, 16 of the fourth, and then 16 of the third, so it goes. You can vibrato the crap out of that 14 at the end. Nice and sexy. All right, so let's go from that 17 slide. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is using Marty's sort of signature outside pentatonic bend note, which is nice and sexy. I'm playing 16 to 14 on the fourth string, jumping to 16 to the fifth, and then bending that 15 with my middle finger on the fourth string. Okay, and then at the end of that, working straight up the pentatonic from 16 to the fourth. I'll go through that slowly. 16 of the fourth, 14, 16 on the third, 14, 17 on the second, and then 14 of the first. So just straight up the pentatonic. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far before we deal with the last chunk. At the end of that, let's go through this chunk. When I'm playing this, I think of it as 2 groups of 6 and then a group of 4. The first group of 6 is going to hammer 16, 19, pull off to 16 and then roll to 14. And then I jump to 15 of the second and then play 14 of the first. And that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to repeat another group of those 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then my group of 4 is just going to end on the 14. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. At the end of that, I slide into a diminished arpeggio from 16 to 19 on the first string. I pull off back to the 16 and then play 18 of the second and then 19, 16 as a pull off on the third string. At the end of that, I slide back, continuing the diminished idea to 13 of the third string. At the end of that, I'm going to play 14 on the third string as a single note, and then have this cheeky little double stop with a bend on 16 of the third and 17 of the second. It's a little chord with a bend. So let's go from the 2 groups of 6 and the 4 and then the diminished arpeggio, and we'll try the whole section, and then we can do it again even slower with some tabs. Here we go. All right, right back to the start of the section now. One more time with some tabs. And that was Marty's solo from Lucretia. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please stay tuned for Dave's solo coming very soon. Also, check the links in the description to my Facebook group and my Patreon. Catch you guys all very soon.